Today I'm going to share with you the 3 less known ways of reducing the choking feeling that you get before a game. Because the biggest lie that you've been told about nerves is that they will magically disappear like your socks. But the truth is, you can actually reduce your nerves by 90% if you just watch this video until the end and implement whatever I tell you to do. And I know this because I used to be the player who would want to throw up standing in the dugout before the game starts. But after playing football for 11 years in 3 different continents and 4 different countries, I now walk out on the pitch completely trusting myself, knowing exactly what I'm going to do on that pitch. Now this first one is the most practical one that I'm going to give you that you can implement in your next game. Because as much as I want to give you the motivational pep talk and whatnot, it ain't going to do a whole lot for you. During 2022 to 2024, I had a series of injuries. First, I tore my right PCL. As that was healing, in my rehab, I tore my left MCL. After that, I went for a trial and I rolled my left ankle. I recovered, retrialed for that team, got into the team. 2 days before I was set to play for them, I pulled my left hamstring. In that entire tournament, I played 2 games and my cumulative playing time was less than 90 minutes. And to be honest, at that point, I might as well just been wrapped in bubble wrap. But then in 2024, I joined the team and I wasn't getting a lot of playing time there. The coach said that the way I play as a striker didn't really fit the system or the style that he wanted to play. So I was feeling really down because I was working really hard, training twice a day, and I still wasn't getting the playing time that I thought I deserved. But the problem at that time that I didn't realize was that I was constantly trying to impress the coach. I was doing everything the coach said. I was afraid to try something out of the ordinary because I wanted to fit the system. I was afraid that if I had messed up trying to do something different, I would lose even more trust with the coach. I was playing safe until one day I came across a piece of advice that changed the way that I play. And it's a piece of advice that I use till this day. And that advice was to have an attitude journal. Everyone tends to have journals for their plans and their goals, but no one really keeps a journal for their attitude. Now with the attitude journal, you're going to write down the attitude that you want to take into the game. Say the attitude that you want to take into the game is sharpshooter. Every time that you get the ball in front of the box, take the shot. Play with that attitude throughout the entire game. And yes, you'll probably still miss your shots, but at least you have a fancy name for yourself. And if you miss more than you score, you can then call yourself a blunt shooter. See what I did there? And now, if you want to make the attitude journal even more powerful, you got to pair that with action goals. Most of the time, players have outcome goals. They want to score 2 goals, they want to get an assist in a game, but instead, try and set action goals for yourself. Try and aim to get 3 crosses into the box. Try and aim to play 2 line-breaking passes. Try and aim to get 3 shots on target instead. Action goals are easier to control because it's all dependent on you. The outcome that you want is just the byproduct of the action that you will take. And if you're ever feeling lost in a game and you feel like you're not playing as you want, always just fall back on the attitude and the attitude will guide you. Quick interruption to this video. If you want to stay 3 steps ahead in your next match, the Tactical IQ Accelerator is for you. Within your next 2 to 3 match reviews, you'll be able to spot patterns earlier on the pitch and you'll know exactly when to speed up or take control of the play. It takes 60 to 90 minutes per game and you'll walk into your next match creating chances instead of reacting to them. And all of this costs less than a pair of league football boots. So if you're interested in investing in your tactical IQ, click the link in the pinned comment down below. Now this next one is what helped me get rid of 90% of my anxiety without even solving the problem yet. In last August, I found out that I had a chance to go and trial in Portugal in December of 2025. I was associated with a semi-pro team in the Division 2, and naturally I saw this as my Hail Mary to impress and get a contract there. I was training 2 to 3 times a day. I was working on my fitness, my tactics, my technical skills, all of it. But then one of the nights, I was sat here, right in this chair, and I was imagining the trials. And as I was imagining the trials, all of a sudden I started getting butterflies in my stomach. My heart started racing and it felt like I was about to go for that trial right there and then. And this wasn't a new feeling. I had felt this before. I usually feel this before the games and I know exactly where it leads me. And I also knew that something had to change because if I didn't change it, I would blunder this trial as well. And it was in that moment that I remembered a piece of advice that I heard a while back. And that is, fear is always in the vague, never in the specific. When we fear something, we have a vague sense of idea of what it looks like. Normally, we can't really pinpoint what that fear is. It sounds something like, I'm afraid of, but that trial it's not even a complete sentence in our head. But I have found that if you can fill that blank space behind that sentence, and if you can answer the question of what are you truly afraid of, that fear actually goes away. When I asked myself that question, I had 3 answers: speed, stamina, and the ability to pluck the ball from the air with pressure on my back. I was sat here, right here in this chair, when I admitted that to myself, and the butterflies in my stomach and the pounding in my chest, it all went away. I hadn't even solved the problem yet at that time, and my anxiety just left me because I was being specific about what I was actually afraid of. And so it was really great to know that if I just name the fear, it will stop bossing me around. Now, this next one will help you step on the pitch like a new player, which means you might also have to reintroduce yourself after this. Before going for the trial in Portugal, I knew that if I played the way I used to play, I would get the results that I used to get. I knew that if I desperately try to impress and desperately try to get the contract, I would fall short again. So this time I used a different approach. And this approach worked so well, I impressed at the trials, but due to some financial constraints, I couldn't go back there. But the point is, it helped me. And the thing that helped me was a question. How would I play if I knew for a fact that I had already signed for the team? It sounds stupidly simple, but just think about it for a while. Normally, you go into a trial hoping to impress. You don't want to make mistakes, you want to be reliable, and therefore you play the easy passes and you never actually do something that makes you stand out. But then on the contrary, there are also players that go on the complete opposite end of the spectrum and try to play with too much of flair. And you can just tell that they've never done it before and they're just trying really hard to impress the coaches there. So instead, I did something else. If I knew that at the end of the trial that contract was guaranteed, how would I play? If I was already a part of that team, how would I play? This takes the pressure off of you to perform, and it just allows you to play like you would normally play, which is probably your best performance anyway. If you were preparing to go out for a match and you're standing in the dugout and someone handed you a piece of paper in the dugout, say it was this piece of paper, and on this piece of paper it was written that no matter what you do on the pitch, victory was guaranteed. How would you play then? You'd probably go out there and try and get as many goals and assists as you could. And to be fair, you should do that. Because turns out if you walk onto the pitch like you own it, it becomes a lot easier to actually own it. Fake it till you make it is a real thing. So go out there and play like you've already won. And if anyone asks you, yes, I gave you the permission to do that. Now, if you enjoyed that and you want to take your tactical IQ to the next level, be sure to check out the Tactical IQ Accelerator in the pinned comment down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you've gained something valuable from this video.